Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Glenn Mills. It is time to go inside Utah politics. We do begin this morning with Representative Angela Romero here to discuss clergy confidentiality and the efforts to change the law in our state. Representative, great to have you back on the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Glenn.
If we could start off, explain to us what the current law is when it comes to clergy and their duties.
So the current law is that anyone in a position of power, whether you're law enforcement, a teacher, a nurse, if a perpetrator comes up to you and tells you, a therapist, and tells you that they're harming a child, they're sexually abusing a child, you are mandated to report. The only group in Utah that's not mandated to report are clergy.
This is something you've been working on for a long time now.
Correct.
Talk about the impact that you see from this law that exempts clergy from reporting.
I've been working on child sex abuse issues since 2014, and this was something that has been raised to me by child sex abuse survivors for a long time. They felt like there's been certain religious institutions that have covered up what happened to them, or they felt like they weren't believed, or a perpetrator was protected. And so we've seen this throughout our country with the Catholic Church and with the Jehovah's Witness, and with this recent AP article. And so in 2020, I ran this bill and had no support. And in 2022, after the AP News report came out, there are people that are concerned about this and are interested in assisting me from both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, a Republican lawmaker coming forward saying he would like to work on a bill as well. Representative Phil Lyman from Blanding.
Yes.
Let me get that straight. Not typically a team that would come together at the state legislature. Talk about the efforts that you have made talking with him and where this partnership might go.
Yeah, it's an interesting partnership. As an elected official, my duty is to serve my constituents in the state of, and the people that live here in the state of Utah. And sometimes you'll pair up with someone that you never think you're going to pair up. And Phil Lyman reached out to me. He said he was interested in running the bill if I decided not to run the bill. And so we're going to work together. I don't know if it'll be the same bill working together, or it'll be different versions of the bill, but he is as committed as I am to ensuring that clergy report.
So between the two of you, where will the process go? You'll continue to talk to see where you can come together, or if you're able to or not?
Yes, and he again reached out to me ahead of time. There's been several lawmakers from the other side of the aisle who have reached out to me as well. I understand that Dan McKay in the Senate is interested in doing some kind of legislation. So for me, it's exciting because in 2020, it was me standing there with survivors and nobody else. And so it's uplifting to have other people concerned. Yeah,
and let's dig into that a little bit more. Now that you do have lawmakers from the other side of the aisle jumping on board this as well, do you feel like you might be able to get it over the finish line this time?
We'll see. I mean, you never know. This is a 45-day session. A lot can happen between now and when the session starts. And right now, I'm just moving forward. I'm meeting with different organizations, different religious institutions, and talking to them about why I'm running the bill. There are some people that are still resistant to this bill.
That's what I wanted to ask.
And in 2020, it was really difficult for me because I was born and raised Catholic, and went through all my sacraments. And so I understand the concerns of the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church still has concerns, but they've reached out to me. We're going to sit down and talk. I don't know if we'll come to agreement, but I feel like it's important to listen to their concerns and actually have a conversation this time versus what happened in 2020, where the Catholic League, which is a national organization, was smearing my name and making a lot of references about me that weren't true. And then I was getting phone calls from all across the world that weren't very friendly.
I remember that well. What are some of the things that churches are nervous about when it comes to this?
With the Catholic Church in particular, they're really concerned about the sacrament of reconciliation, which is confession. And I understand that concern, but my concern is about children and about children having a voice. And a lot of times we're thinking about adults and institutions, but children are so vulnerable. When you look at Utah and you look at our statistics when it comes to child sex abuse, we're higher than the national average. We used to be 1 in 5, we're now 1 in 7. But at national, it's 1 in 10 will be sexually abused. And so we still have a long way to go in ensuring that we're doing preventative measures. But at the same time, we have to hold people accountable. And I understand when people go to a spiritual leader and a guide to ask for forgiveness. I understand that component. But as we know with child sex abuse, there's usually more than one victim. And my concern is that we get that perpetrator the help and services they need to move forward with their life and not get in the way of their spiritual beliefs, but at the same time, protect children and make sure children are getting the help and support that they need too, because in a lot of situations in the legislature, I sit on executive offices and law enforcement when it comes to appropriations. We give so much money to people when we're trying to help them reform, and I support that 100%. But a lot of times we forget about the victims and the survivors of these perpetrators, and we don't put enough funding and enough efforts to support them. So I'm hoping that we, take a different angle this legislative session and really focus on the people who are impacted by people who have hurt them in various reasons, various forms.
Yeah, I hear the argument, if you pass this law, people will just stop confessing. Is that a reason in your mind? Does that deter you at all? Is it a reason not to move forward?
It doesn't deter me at all, because some of these individuals still tell their therapists, they still tell other people that they're hurting people. And so for me, it's about the child, and it's about the people that they're hurting, and for them to get help as well. So will they not go to confession? I can't predict that. But this law is the law in other states, and I'm forgetting which states those, Texas is one of the states, and so there are many states that have passed this law, and the Catholic Church hasn't crumbled down and fallen apart, and neither have some of these other religious institutions. And so again, we're seeing these scandals with the Catholic Church. We saw this in, about 20 years ago. We're seeing this right now with the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, with the Boy Scouts, and just all the different things going on when it came to child sex abuse. And I think a lot of times these religious institutions are being afraid of being sued. But I really feel like we should be focusing on the children and making sure we're doing preventive measures so that we don't put more children in harm's way.
So you, as we have well established, have run a bill in the past. What is a bill, and what would it do that you would like to get behind in this upcoming session? So
all this bill would do is it would strike the exemption of clergy. And so they would be accountable just like law enforcement is, just like a therapist is, just like a teacher is, like anyone else who's in a position of trust, and someone comes and tells them they're hurting someone, they have to report.
And what is the is the bill out yet?
It's getting numbered. It's getting numbered right now, but basically it's going to be the exact same bill as I ran in 2020. But I am open to conversations with different institutions and religious leaders, and I have been talking about them. Again, I want to clarify, I'm not attacking someone's religious beliefs. I'm not attacking that institution. What I'm concerned about is making sure we're protecting children.
Will this get any interim time, do you anticipate, or will it likely go straight to
I think it'll likely go straight to the session.
Okay.
But, and I'm hoping it gets a hearing. Hopefully it might get a hearing in the interim. I don't know. We're not that far yet, but we're taking it one step at a time. Okay. It's something we will definitely keep an eye on as well. Appreciate you being here this morning and giving us the update. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. You bet. Still to come, the